Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the head-on-head best-of-3 stage of the EU qualifiers. I'm Pixel. I'm joined here by Draskell. Draskell, how are you doing, son?
I'm doing all right. Ready to catch some Dota 2, you know? Let's do this.
Absolutely. And what a way to start it off really in the EU. We've got Syndron's team, aka the No Diggity Boys, going up against Vega Squadron, arguably one of, if not the strongest recently on a land track record of the European side. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. The draft is underway, so let's shoot ourselves in. And indeed, we have also got some observing on today. We're going to be having Scriff on the camera work, so don't worry. You're not going to have to endure my atrocious movement of the mouse. And well, what have we got here so far in the draft? Well, no Diggity taking away the Enchantress, the Bounty, Vega Squadron, that the Venomancer that we've seen no Diggity start to kind of have a little bit of a fling with, the Beastmaster as well, a staple for a lot of teams at the moment in this patch. And talking about staples, Enigma first pick for no Diggity. Yapsor loves that hero, and I gotta say, he's probably I'd say he's right up there at the moment in terms of people who know how to play that incredibly well in this patch. His performance is incredible. But as well as that, talk to me about that, Andy. But also, talk to me about the fact that Vega, they're opening up with the faces void. I mean, Mag is a pretty wonderful man with that.
Yeah, I think that we had a really a good showing of Mag's Faceless Void at We Play. When
We
cast
did,
that,
yeah.
He was hitting like insane Chronospheres, and also we saw Empire, who was at the same tournament, I think showcase it a little bit earlier. Like Empire or Afterlife, he was the one who actually decided to start playing it and showed how strong it can be when people weren't really punishing the offlaners at all. But No Diggity's response is pretty much just to go full greed. So normally what happens is when you have this Faceless Void offlane is you kind of assume that his lane's going to be easy and that he's just going to get creeps no matter what. And it's really hard to zone him. So if you just pick a hero who's going to be able to get a lot out of the jungle, offer comparable team fight to what a Void gives you, and you have a mech carrier already kind of secured, and you have Yapsor on your team, it's like, why not? Because I think he's probably one of the best team fighting Enigmas that we've ever seen.
Absolutely. This man's insane. I can't remember the last time we saw Yaps have a bad game on the Enigma. Even in the games where no Diggity lose, he seems to always just play it really, really well. He is certainly one of the shining elements of no Diggity Squadron. And got kind of a newer name indeed for a lot of people that are going to be more aware of like the classics like Cinderin, Qualifier and Era. But you know, Yapsor and Kezi really coming through recently and showing us they have what it takes to bring this team together and create one of the strongest sides in Europe. Second pick for the sides, we've got Slardar coming out from No Diggity. I like this because if you look back to Vega Squadron's performance at We Play, the hero that kind of screwed them over was the MVP Slardar. So No Diggity kind of looking at that and looking at the fact that Slardar, well, he's certainly a hero now. A lot of people loving him, a lot of people finding this is the time to be picking him. But at the same time, Vega do get that Doom, which has been incredibly highly contested in these qualifiers.
Doom is an interesting one to me because I feel like the opening two of No Diggity, they're two good Doom targets, but
Yep.
at the same time, if you're playing Doom, you don't necessarily want a bunch of different people that you can do, because that means that there's multiple really big threats that you always have to worry about during a fight. Amplify damage is great against Doom because he has notoriously low base armor, so he becomes very squishy even as a normally high health hero. He still offers its own benefit. I think this is actually more in response to the Enigma from No Diggity, just Vegas saying, okay, well, if you're going to pick some kind of greedy jungler, we're going to need to also address the fact that you're going to be getting a lot out of your side of the map. So let's try to get something similar, whereas we're going to get like Devour Gold, we're going to get, you know, if he wants to go Blank or Drums, whatever build he decides. They're not just automatically losing out on the laning stage by not having a hero who can farm at an equal rate to an Enigma, and maybe not as fast, but it's still going to be all right. And once Doom becomes available, obviously your team fight's going to be pretty good too.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Well, looking at the looking at the bans as well coming from both sides. I mean, for one, you know, no Diggity banning out the Brood Mother. I mean, if there's going to be anyone to play the Brood, it's going to be Mag. And I don't see anyone else on Vega Squadron playing the Void over the Mag. Do you?
I mean, you can definitely put it on FN.
I guess,
think a lot of
yeah.
people were putting it in the safe lane as well, so
Yeah.
I don't think the hero necessarily has some ridiculously high skill cap. Obviously, hitting Chronospheres is pretty much your only real.
But I mean,
issue.
is he up there as one of the best carries in this patch? I mean, it certainly feels like there's just so many other heroes that you'd rather have in the safe lane than a Void.
I think that it's more about the fact that the Brood would screw them over a lot if they
Okay.
got their hands on it, more than it is Void being that strong of a safe laner. So imagine
Yes,
what No Diggity
yeah.
have right now. Okay, it's Enigma, not really that good against Brood because you want to spend the majority of your time in the jungle. Slardar is okay. I think MVP actually played it against Brood and did fairly well. I want to say it was QO's safe lane that game. but it's still not great. And if it's going to be some kind of off-lane Slardar, and they don't want to put it in a core, which we don't know just yet, then the Brood would really just destroy the safe lane. And I think it's just wanting to make sure that no Diggity have a more stable laning phase than it is worrying about the Void safe lane necessarily.
All right. I guess, yeah, indeed, as you said, makes sense, and so do the bans from Vega, of course. Lone Druid, something that no Diggity do love to pick up when they can get the chance. And Vengeful Spirit, pretty much one of Synderen's go-to heroes. If you don't get the Venge, though, and you're Synderen, you grab yourself the Bane. I mean, it's pretty much where it goes most of the times, that or what Lion. They're kind of like the staple Synd heroes that we do see him loving to play. So no Diggity at the moment. Pretty kind of standard comfort stuff. Vega as well. We're going to be seeing the puck come out here, almost certainly for no one. In the mid lane, we're yet to see, of course, what Qualifier's hero is going to be. But now they're going to see that, and there's still, I mean, looking at the bans, you know, there's pretty much, I mean, what the Venom was banned, I guess you could see that as a potential mid hero, but there's a lot of really good mid heroes still left in the pool when you're looking at what you're going to put against that puck in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think Windranger or Queen are the two most likely. Quakefa plays both of them extremely well. So I would look to see either of them. Maybe even they go back for something like Tinker that we've been starting to see. Not necessarily so sold on that one per se, but it is definitely an option if you want to try to, you know, slow the pace of the game down a bit. And plus, going high guard against Tinker Enigma is literally like the most disgusting thing in the world. Midnight Pulse makes tanky heroes kind of melt, and then you have to worry about March. So options pretty wide open, like you mentioned here for no Diggity. Just depends on if they want to try to meet aggression with aggression. And honestly, they could. I kind of like the Windranger a bit more with the Slardar, because you obviously have the amplified damage and the focus fire. That combination's insane.
Yes,
and even during the late stages of the game, like, look at Vega, they have no save, right? They don't have a swap because they had to ban out the Venge themselves, because Faceless Void is really bad against Venge. I mean, maybe they could go like Oracle or Dazzle or something, but I still think that, you know, Windranger is a really solid pick here. Queen's obviously good too, though.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if they do want to pick that up now, because I'd imagine no Diggity, they'll, you know, if it's not, they will try and target one of those.
Oh, they're going off lane first, okay.
All right, okay. Getting Kazu is the old
I guess
DS.
it makes sense, though, because they're going to go into the last ban phase.
Yeah.
And there are less off laners available than mid laners.
Yeah,
so
that's
more
true.
Likely, yeah, it's more likely that no Diggity are going to be able to get their hands on a mid rather than an off lane hero. Yeah. So I think the Darkseer makes sense. It also kind of opens up the itemization for the Enigma and the Darkseer. Just decide which one of them you want to get mech, and then, you know, if you want to go this pipe item, which will, I guess the last two picks will decide if it's going to be necessary for no Diggity to get that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting what Vega do close this one off. I mean, off the top of your head, anything that you feel we've seen Vega, you know, kind of playing with recently that they could be looking for to close this one off?
I mean, it's kind of rough, actually. I think the Slardar is going to have a really easy time this game, because there's no roar, there's no hard stun, you know, no LD, stuff like that. I kind of...
What about Disruptor?
Oh yeah, I think Disruptor is really good against Bane.
Disruptor
but
would
I was
be
thinking
fantastic,
more along the lines of carry, but...
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, they could obviously pick their second support now, just use the same ideology that no Diggity had, picking up the Darkseer, because I think the supports are a little bit harder to come by now than the carries. Yeah, and it will be a support, but it's going to be a Lich. I guess Vega are more concerned about winning their laning phase, just trying to deny something from maybe the offlane Darkseer right now, because I assume that's where the Lich is going to be going. Or if they wanted to try to punish the safe lane of no Diggity, they could potentially go aggressive. Because Bane Slardar, it is kind of scary if you're alone, but if you have a Lich there, like keeping the lane back all the time, because against a Lich you can't control the lane, right? He just always pulls it back towards his tower. So if you can keep the lane in a good position, you might be able to get a lot out of that. And then just maybe set up like a decent 1v1 in the Darkseer matchup.
Let's see here. This final touch here for the side. They're going to take away the Nature's Prophet. So, I mean, it looks like they are expecting it to be FM Void from these bans.
Well, if you're in can lane and safe
I
lane
guess,
yeah,
I guess it could actually. Yeah, we've seen what the safe lane Prophet really kind of make a rise. What with like, such as like Ramses, he's been playing it a lot as well for Empire. Yeah, there are a few CIS sides that are certainly liking the safe lane Prophet. Vega.
I mean, they could. This is a really tough draft though to pick a hard carry for FN, I think, because you have like Slardar is really good against cores because you can amplify, it goes through BKB. They have two really strong BKB disables. And I guess Vega do have a good amount to interrupt them, but eventually it's going to become very difficult to get in on like some kind of melee core for Vega, which I do think it will end up being a melee hero. I'm just not entirely sure which one.
I was going to say, do you think so? You don't think they'll just kind of go get the FN gyrocopter?
Gyro or Ember, I think, for me personally. Gyro's a really good one. They might go with that just
I'd
because
love
they have
to see the
puck.
Jar. I mean, it's such a strong pick for FN as well. He's so comfortable on the hero.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think
the Sven to counteract the Amplify.
I don't know if Sven's so good against Enigma Bane.
I guess it's a
gonna
lot
be really
of
hard
kite.
to stay on
Yeah,
target, like, especially Darkseer too. Like you have Surge, high mobility on the Slardar and the Darkseer, and BKB disables. Very scary. I mean, it's still okay, I guess, but it wouldn't be personally my first pick.
Well, let's see here. Final one for Vega. What are they going to go for? Let's see what's FN going to be bringing to the fray today, or indeed if they want to switch it around and play that safe lane Void. But no Diggity, I was sure they were always anticipating. They weren't totally writing off that fact with some of the bans that were coming out for the side.
Yeah, safe lane Void's still an option, but just depends on what they feel comfortable with. I don't think I've seen FN play the hero in a competitive game before, but I'm sure it's not like super difficult.
Okay.
Oh, Clinks, okay.
Clinks? What do you think about the
So-
Clinks? I mean, up
No,
against the
it's good because
Slardar?
it's not necessarily about like the mid game. I think it's just about lanes. Like Vega really want to dominate their lanes. Okay, so they pick Puck, they pick Lich, they pick Clinks, and then they have a greedy hero in the Doom. And Void is always going to get like something out of his lane, right? So Vega's lineup is very predicated around the idea that the Doom can go around and kind of be a bit greedier during the early game because you don't really need to help Clinks. So Clinks in lane just does whatever. You know, he just lanes all right against pretty much everything. Once you hit 6, you can eat the Ion Shell creep if the Darkseer is going to be matching up against him. So I think that will probably be what they're looking for. And Alchemist to round things out here for no Diggity. Really solid pick if you can get off the ground with it. But again, Vega have extremely good lanes. So I'm looking at them and hoping that they're going to push the pace.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, with this final one, I mean, overall, looking at the two drafts, Andy, who do you think is the stronger draft in your eyes? You know, just looking on paper, looking at the heroes, considering the the current meta, the current patch. Who would you rather have as your team?
If Vega play like they did at We Play, up until they went up against MVP, of course, who dismantled them pretty badly. I think if Vega play as good as I think they can, I will go Vega.
All right. Well, on that note, we'll see indeed how this one goes down. I think going into this as well, I think certainly before the qualifiers, people would have seen, off the back of We Play Land, Vega coming second, that Vega was to be kind of the team to take this. But no Diggity, obviously blowing away a lot of people with their performance here in the qualifiers. So this one, I think going into it, is close as a neck and neck. So have a look indeed how this one is going to pan out, ladies and gentlemen. As we get ourselves into Vega Squadron versus No Diggity. This is game one of the best of 3. I'm Odie Pixel, and I will be joined, as you have already heard, I'm sure, by young Andrew Stars, Mr. Draskell on the cast. And well, without any further ado, let's go for the lowdown, the lineups of both sides from the top to the left to the right. We've got on the side of Vega, German the Slayer. He's going to be supporting on the Lich. Solo, he's going to be wandering around on the big old Doom mid lane. No one on his classic Puck FN. He'll be safe lining it up on the Clinks, and that's going to leave, last but not least, Mag on the Void, and we can certainly expect quite an impressive performance from that little purple man. Over on the side of the No Diggity boys, talking about purple people, we've got Yapzor in the jungle on the Enigma, Cinderin on his Bane, the Slardar as well. It's a bit of a purple strat going on from this side. Qualifier on his Slardar. Error, he's the one that wants to try and break away from the trend, bringing a bit of yellow to the mix. He's on his Alchemist, and finally, back to purple. Darkseer. It's going to be Kezu, so the purple strat being brought out by Sind. I mean, it's a novel one, and it could just work, Andy.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't get punished too hard in the laning phase, and Vega don't continually push the pace, it could be really scary for them. And by the way, Era doesn't turn purple until level 6.
That's true. Then he does.
Yep. So that's when their lineup really does become the full purple strat.
There will be the full purple strat. Yeah, of course. Oh, this is going to be brilliant.
I can't wait to see how it works out.
We're going to see a bit.
This is a bit interesting to me because obviously Qualifier typically plays mid, but I think this is more of a hero thing where Era is actually going to be playing the mid Alchemist, probably just has more experience on the hero. I think that means that, No Diggity, as soon as they get the Armlet Blink Dagger up on the Slardar, they're also going to want to try to put forth their own style of aggression. But as we look towards the lanes, I think everything is just about as we had expected. They want that Clinks 1v1 matchup against the Darkseer. I still think that Kezu will be fine. I don't really see him dying or anything. I think it's just more about having a hero who can deal with the Darkseer in particular. And plus, Clinks just does an insane amount of physical damage, so.
Absolutely, yeah. Clinks is still going to be fine. That was fine for me for the lane. But as you said, I don't think we're going to see anyone getting harassed back too hard in the bottom lane. The top lane, I mean, is it a similar story? I mean, you've got this Void Lich against the Bane Slardar. Do you think there's the potential for anyone to kind of come out trumps here?
I mean, if they catch Shioma and he's in a bad position, I can definitely see him going down, because the Void doesn't have any reliable CC. So if he gets a bash, you know, maybe he can save. But otherwise, if he gets nightmared into a stun, it could be really dangerous for him. But otherwise, like, the lane shouldn't really have any kills unless somebody makes a mistake. I mean, that sounds fairly obvious, but I think maybe if there's going to be a kill anywhere, it would probably be top.
Alright, and of course, one of the things that could kind of set it off as well will be these rotations from Yapzor coming out of the jungle after he's managed to get himself a good enough start. Mid lane, looking at this matchup at the moment, 9 for 3 for no one against 4 for 0 on Error. I mean, is this kind of expected, a slow start for the Alchemid against a Puck, or is this just no one outplaying him?
This is rough. This is really rough on Alchemist. I mean, Puck is a strong laner in the first place, but if you watch what he does, he's basically just avoiding the acid spray, and since he realizes that the enemy team has an Enigma, he can play as aggressive as he wants on this lane. Like, he doesn't have to worry about some Lion or Witch Doctor rotating on him, and he can't play as aggressive as he wants. This is a situation that you want to be in as a mid lane dominator, where you just know there's no outside pressure on you.
Look at the pressure. Bottom lane, Kezu actually going on solo. Iron Shell versus Scorched Up. I mean, this is some, I don't know, knee-biting stuff. So they're both going to walk it off. I think neither of them are working out who's actually going to come out top of that trade. Mid lane, the trading's continuing. Error, he needs to be careful, but so does no one. Gets himself back over the river. He's got his bottle out now as well, so we'll see no one continue to do as much as he can in this mid lane, and indeed it still continues to be very, very nice for the Puck. 13 for 6 against Error's 6 for 0 on the Alk, so the farm speed is certainly not there. Smokes would have been sent out to Yapzor on his Enigma. I mean, the question is, with this Enigma, when do you feel we will see Yapzor leave the lane, leave the jungle and enter into a lane, and which lane will it be?
I think he probably goes top. Ganking mid is super hard, so you have to wait for no one to use an orb aggressively if you're going to try to kill him, and I think he probably just maybe 5 if he's feeling like super aggressive, but not having Black Hole and trying to gank mid seems really difficult. I think he'll most likely just try to kill Mag or Shioma.
Alright, just gonna see, I'll keep him solo. He's just filling the bottle back up here for no one.
Abusers, baby.
I don't know.
It's a super broken mechanic, in my opinion, that you can do that. Because it's like, okay, I don't have to go to base, I don't have to waste the courier. My Doom was already healing in the well regardless. I basically lose nothing and just get a free bottle. Yeah,
it's going to just keep no one in this great position. Because I guess with the fact that you have got the Enigma in the jungle and such, there's not really anyone that's going to be coming out TP into the lane to do the same for Error. Soaring now picked up on Kezu. As we can see, in terms of CS for the Dark Seas, found 14 for 1, so he is getting the farm there on the bottom lane. But Klinks, as expected, is still doing fine. 20 for 5 on FN's Klinks at the moment. This top lane for the side of Vega, Mag on his Void. He's finding the levels. He's level 4 at the moment, 11 for 0. So I feel that Vega are going to be happy with how much they're getting on this Void at the moment at the top. But of course, just 4.5 minutes in, the way that this game's being played out, it feels like it's all going to be down to these rotations. Down to either Solo coming out and catching someone, which he may just do. I mean, look with this Invis rune. Kezu is rather low. We'll see if they can do anything here. Moving in, trying to block him off. He's going to go for the surge, but that's going to be enough. Ticking down, and the touch from FN. Very nicely done. And one of those situations where an Invis rune can just set up first blood like that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like if you look at the warding that no Diggity had, one of them just faded. They had no rune ward at all, so they basically had no information every 2 minutes or whatever. So that obviously helping in to secure that kill for FN in there in the safe lane for Vega. But this is kind of what we expected. The straight up lanes of Vega are quite strong, but it's no Diggity who are actually, they were pulling ahead in terms of overall net worth just because, again, of Yapzor and just having that Enigma on your team constantly just jungling away halfway to level 7 at 5 minutes in. This is the jungle speed that we talk about when we're looking at an Enigma.
So
this is what he is capable of.
Absolutely. I think this is something that people were talking about as well when he started pulling this out in Dream League. One of the issues with Yapzor is he was very good with the way that he kind of moved around the map, but his actual farm and kind of rotations and the way he moved around wasn't ideal. But now he's pretty much perfected it. This is you don't get anything more on Enigma. He rinses that farm for all it's worth. And now with the smoke from Cinder and Yapzor, They are going to
Oh,
try and
okay.
look for some
They're
action.
going to go for the Nightmare, and then they're going to try to just black hole him right away, I think.
Yeah,
I think that's the best way to kill him here.
I think indeed it might have been spotted out by that observer ward you see from the Radiant.
Did they smoke on the high ground? I didn't actually see.
So, no one. He's going to play it
Oh, he
careful.
orbs in. That could be really bad for him, actually.
Oh, here we go, Malefice. He's going to commit the black hole for this one? Yes, he is. Grabs him there, brings him down. And hey, it's a black hole used, but that's a puck down. They'll take that any day. Synderen, just playing around with Shoma. They're not going to be able to follow up on that one, but there we have it. As you said, they were going to need the black hole to take down the puck, but that's pretty nice for Arrow, of course. Now going to give him 30 seconds to catch up with the farm in the mid lane. And also, of course, just getting the side of no Diggity kill on the board.
That's got to be frustrating, though, being puck in that situation. Like, knowing that if you just didn't commit your orb, you would have been fine. Because if he gets just a Malefice off, and you orb away, you can phase shift a second stun, and then just, there's no way that you go down. And then no Diggity, waste a smoke. Yeah, okay, they secure top rune, but you're not ending up giving away a kill. So just a little bit greedy there from no one, just trying to secure that rune instead of playing it a bit safer. I guess, he did get it, but it's not worth it.
There we have it now in the mid lane area. He's got that ult up, so the full purple strat is online now.
Yeah, and good luck ever harassing that hero out of lane again.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. I mean, Arrow's done a good job. He might not have had the best of time in terms of CS, but yeah, he wasn't picked off at all. So never any rotation, any pressure until now. FN setting this one up, waiting for the ultimate to finish.
Dead if he gets coiled. But
yeah, Solo's actually come through as well. They're just going to start to rip into him in there. Well, the Alk, once he's yellow, he just, all the power's gone. And look at Solo. He's calculated. He's got.
I don't know, man. That acid spray almost got him killed. Minus armor, just getting chunked by that tower.
It was close. One more touch and he would have been gone. He worked it out. He did the maths. Trust in Solo. He knows.
Yeah, he's obviously very skilled, so I'm sure he knew that he was fine there. Top lane Mag just kind of messing around here. This is one of the other things too, is they're emphasizing a lot on holding down no one. They commit a black hole to him. That just means this entire time Mag is just farming away. He's got his treads already almost 30 CS at 8 minutes as an offlaner, and the Lich hasn't really been spending a whole lot of time there the last couple of minutes. He's just walking around trying to get vision up, making sure that no one actually directly needs his help. So I still think Vega are in an okay position as long as they make sure that they're focusing their attention on the important stuff, get objectives, keep Era down, because that's the one guy who can get very out of control on this lineup.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, it's just eyes on Era. And I mean, at the moment they're doing exactly that. The fact that the puck's having as good a game as he has. Yes, he's been picked off, but at the same time, no one. He's 50 for 24. How's he looking in terms of the gold on his way to his Blink Dagger? He's going to start that road after the tread to the null and the bottle. So he is going to get there. And the way he's been playing, it's what's the catch potential of the side of no Diggity? It is kind of relying on either the black hole or potentially the Fiend's Grip as well, or at least until the Slider gets himself a blink, he's allowed to close the gap, and you can chain the stun of a Crush and Concoction. No one's going to be incredibly elusive this game, and should be able to farm up safely for the next few minutes in order to get that Blink Dagger. Looking at Yapzor, he's got the black hole back up in 20 seconds. Kind of the same time that'll be there, he'll have the mech done as well. So we're very much likely to see Yapzor come into a lane again. He's also got that smoke still ready and waiting to go. So
it should be quite easy for them to. Well, they're going to get Cinder in 6, and they're going to get mech at the same time. So that is a really good power spike here from no Diggity. It should result in at least a favorable team fight for them, because at this early of a mech against what Vega have, unless the Clinks and Mag are both there, I think it's going to be a rough fight for Vega.
So it's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. And, well, FN on his Clinks, he is top of the net worth at the moment.
Oh, they're smoking without the mech.
Oh.
They're just leaving it in the stash. I guess they don't want to wait for the courier. They just think that the timing is strong and they just want to try to go for a kill now.
Oh, let's see if they get it. I mean, FN on his Clinks would be the high priority one. And as you said, the fact that Sin's got the Fiend's Grip as well, they've certainly got the lockdown to deal with him. As long as they can find the jump. FN, he's going to walk into it. Yeah, no messing. Fiend's Grip's there. The question is, do they have any detection?
They do.
They do. And that's a big one. They'll drop the wall to secure the kill, and they'll get it. Mag coming in with a rotation. He's going to jump in, drops the Chrono, only catches Synderen, looks for a bash onto Kezu. Now he goes back in. Chain Frost bouncing around, Dream Coil onto Yapzor. They're finding him a Sin, going for the TP out, isn't going to make it. They'll claim themselves a second one here, Vega. So they do take the 2-for-1 trade. As the jungler and the support roaming in, do kill off the Clink's carry, so I don't know, it's not the worst situation there for no Diggity, and it does force the entire team of Vega to go down to the bottom lane.
Yeah, I mean, it forces their rotation, but they're still going to get some damage on the tower. I think it's just a mistake not waiting for the mech. Like, they didn't use Black Hole or anything, so it's not as if they committed a big ultimate and got nothing out of it. It was more just a Vega were on point with the reaction, and if they just had the mech, maybe, you know, Yapzor lives long enough to get a Black Hole off, or they can turn the fight in some other way. But without waiting for that one big item, it just seemed like a little bit rushed from No Diggity, just trying to get something done on the map, maybe to alleviate pressure from Era, which it did do. And to some degree, but again, not a worthwhile trade for No Diggity.
I mean, at least one of the other pluses for them was the fact that Qualifier continues to get the space stop. He's now got the Blink Dagger done on top of the treads. So he's very much ready to go in bottom lane. Well, we'll see stuff kick off here. Looking for Kezu. They've dropped the Doom, but there's the Black Hole. Grabbing into. Quaifer's coming in to join in the fray. Gets the Crush out to follow through the Black Hole. Staggering here. And Solo's going to try and run up to the north. The mech will be keeping Kezu alive for the time being. He'll be nightmared up. This man is probably still going to stick down. No! He actually survives. The Doom runs out. He surges away. Quaifer jumps in. Finishes off Mag on the face of this Void. And Kezu just keeping himself safe away from the potential arrival of FN. But Kezu there surviving the Doom thanks to Yapzor's mech. And they jump in, they get themselves that Void. Certainly could have been more painful for Vega. And Vega, oh, it's an error.
Oh, he has no TP. Oh, I guess they were too scared that the rest of the team was nearby. But yeah, there was a mech and a Nightmare. A Nightmare actually disjointed 2 auto attacks from the Clinks, which would have definitely killed him. So really nice plays all around there from No Diggity. Getting those kills, they get this tier 1 safe lane as well. Really good stuff. This is actually, like, when you have engagements like that and you're Vega, and you throw out a Doom, and, you know, you might not have Puck there, but he does have his Blink Dagger now, so I'm assuming the one's going to have more impact in the next fight. But this is really scary, because No Diggity, with having the Slardar and being dire with this Enigma, they can also just go straight to Roshan. And if Vega don't recognize this, No Diggity are going to get a ton of momentum, and they can just go for, like, tier 1 mid, tier 2 safe lane if they want. It's really scary right now for Vega.
I mean, they might be able to try and contest this.
Oh, they know. They
yeah,
know for sure.
they've got Dream Core, they've got Chronosphere, they've got Chain Frost. Let's go, boys. Vega looking for the jump in. No Diggity, they're going to be caught out by this one. The Orb flying through. Roshan falling low. It's going to be taken out by the Dire, and Quaifer will be able to pick it up. Will drop down in the middle of it. The Chain Frost bouncing to the pit. Oh, Era Quaifer cutting the Chronosphere. They're going to lose the Aegis. They've lost Era. They've lost Cinder in here. Vega looking to come out on top and now chasing for more. They want to try and find Kezu. Looking to juke it out, hiding in the tree line. Quaifer still in the pit. Vega, can they control him? Can they take down the Slardar as well? He'll get the blink off. He'll be able to get himself out, but Kezu is not going to be as lucky as the final arrow flies through. And just like that, Vega steaming themselves back on top of the side of No Diggity. No Diggity, they may get the Roshan, but as a huge fight there for Vega. And No Diggity just unable to kill anyone on the side of Vega Squadron.
No Black Hole is a really big deal there. And I think that they also... Did they have a wall? I think they
did. They dropped the wall at the start of the fight, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. They did well, but Black Hole is just too big of a tool for them to not have in these engagements. Like, you fighting against Chronosphere, you know, Chain Frost and whatnot, it's a really, really scary thing. And that Chain Frost bounce, if that didn't go into the pit, I would have probably say that No Diggity walk away from that team fight still winning.
Yeah, there was some
because
really good
there was no damage if the Chain Frost didn't bounce. That's one of the things about Vega's lineup is they can really only kill one person at a time unless the puck lands like a really big combo on their entire team, which is probably not going to happen very reliably. So fortunate turn of events there with that Chain Frost bounce.
Oh, yeah, they've got a dust here onto FN. He's going to try and walk this one off, but Quaifer and Kezu quick to chase him down, vacuum him back, bash him out. And they'll find themselves the Clinks there. Clinks did just finish off the Desolator, so I believe he didn't really have that much gold on him to lose, but nonetheless, it's a good one to shut off the map because Clinks was starting to run away with this one a bit. He's at the top of the net worth, 6.7k. I mean, looking back to Era's Alk as well, he still has a bit of catching up to do. I mean, you're 15 minutes in. This isn't really the richest Alk we've seen recently in the qualifiers.
He's actually, like, broke.
He is pretty poor.
Standards.
Yeah.
This is really, really far behind from him. Like, normally, 15 minutes in, you're looking at Armlet plus Radiance.
Yeah.
So that's like 5,000 net worth that he just straight up doesn't have. And when you have an Alchemist that's not #1 on net worth, you got a problem. Granted, he is very good at recovering because his flash farming capability is probably the highest in the game if you have the right items for it. But like you mentioned, he is kind of struggling here. No Diggity just trying to buy him as much time as they can. But for the side of Vega, that just gives them more space, you know? They don't have to rush themselves so much about trying to get the map control and get the game going their way. But I do think that it's on their mind. Like, having all the tier 1s alive 15 minutes in when you get a Clings with Desolator, like, you want to hit some buildings now, I think, if you're Vega. Always got to worry about that black hole though as well. For no
they,
Diggity.
they do, absolutely. Yeah, with that backup. Wolves back there as well. Fiend's Grip's still there for Sind if they try and go in for the push. And we'll see if Vega do indeed want to do that. They're coming around on the bottom lane. Ready to go. Let's see if the side of no Diggity want to try and do anything in response. If they want to try and hold it.
It's quite difficult, I think, for Enigma in these situations because he doesn't have a BKB or a blink. So getting into a team fight and utilizing Black Hole is a lot harder when the enemy team is directly pressuring your tower. Because there's no way you're going to be able to just walk in, right? You can't just waddle in with your no feet and try to get a Black Hole off when there's 5 heroes there, especially considering there's like Doom, there's Chronosphere, Puck Coil, and whatnot. So I think that Vega just needs to be very aware of this fact and try to get as much as they can in terms of objectives before no Diggity decide if they want to start taking engagements.
Right, they certainly seem to be slowing down the pace as well. We're not seeing any rash decisions made by either side. Both of them being very, very careful as they walk around the map, sticking to their own side. Synderen getting a few levels in the mid lane. And Mag, FNR coming in. We might see them jump in if they see an opening to try and grab one of the members of no Diggity. But just, yeah, slowing the pace down, allowing Era to get that farm on his Alchemist to close the gap and catch up the rest of his side. Well, there we have it now. On to the tier 1. Any answer from no Diggity? Do they want to try and come in with a defense? It looks like they're going to let this one go. I mean, the pushing power very, very quick with this Clinks. And no one, he's still got this invis ring. Oh, yeah, he's going to come out of it. Didn't see an opportunity to try and set up a team fight off the back of it.
But you can tell no Diggity are feeling very apprehensive about taking any of these fights.
They are. They really are.
Like, there's not even an armlet done on the slider yet. It seems like the item progression on no Diggity is not really coming out as fast as you would expect. And the Puck and the Clinks still have a ridiculous amount of net worth. The Alchemist just surpassed the Clinks right now at 18 minutes. And that's obviously due to a couple of things. Obviously, no one did fantastic in the laning phase. He was destroying Era, as well he should. I mean, that matchup is not favored
yes, yeah, as you said.
At all.
Yeah, Puck should come out top.
But it's just, I don't know, no Diggity, they seem to be a little bit slow.
Oh!
Okay.
I tried for it.
I think you shift Q that actually and didn't cancel. Like, what happens when you shift Q when you're TPing is you can't hit S because the S will just stop your TP. So you have to like let the TP go off and try to hit S fast enough to where the coil isn't just cast right away. And I think that's what ended up happening there. It's really annoying how that works actually.
A little unfortunate there for the poking off the back of that. Well, no Diggity, no nothing, and they just come straight back in. Gezu, yep, Zorsin down. Qualifier looking to take a tier 2. They'll find it. Vega a little bit split up across the map at the moment. Now they're going to TP in the void. Mag has that chrono. We'll see if he wants to try and jump in. Moving forward here with the orb. Eyes on Solo. Solo. He's got the Doom. Is he going to be able to drop it? Sin holding him back with the Nightmare. Mag still with the wraparound. Looking for Sin. Actually going to go for a TP out here. Well, they're going to move in. They got the Yules to cancel that one. So Sin will get taken down here. And the tier 2 does still prevail as Vega successful with the defense and find themselves a kill off the back of it as well.
Yeah, no Diggity I think are trying to scramble for some footing in this game because they know how quickly it can get out of hand. And I guess the one good thing they can look at is, Era's, he's getting his farm on now, I guess. He's very close to the Radiance being completed. My only concern at this point in the game is the item progression is kind of at a rate where Vega are able to get their core items before the Alchemist hits his critical mass. Like, the strength of the hero is that you can farm so quickly that you just smash the other heroes by having a huge gold advantage. That's what Alchemist does.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he's still behind in net worth, like, he just got passed again by FN. It's
not,
really, really alarming.
That's not good. Yeah, at the moment it's just Vega really hitting the stride of their lineup much better than no Diggity are at this point, 20 minutes in. As Vega starting to push it on the mid, but as we can see, no Diggity on the sidelines. Yabzor, he's closing on the BKB, 500 gold away from having it. And it looks like they won't be able to get themselves in from the side. Vega just playing it safe again, making sure not to throw anything away here as they back off.
I'm actually kind of feeling like late game Vegas still are going to be maybe a tiny bit favored in comparison to Diggity.
I'd agree,
because the team fight presence on no Diggity kind of falls off because it becomes increasingly difficult to land a good black hole against Doom, against Void. Puck eventually is going to get Aghanims. I think no one, yeah, he has his point booster, so he's making his way towards it right now. So when you look at the difference between the team fight utility that No Diggity and Vega have a Void. Okay, Void is like the easiest thing in the world to use in a fight. You just get a Blink Dagger, you blink in, you drop your ulti, you hit a couple of heroes, and then your job is more or less done. YapzOr has a much harder time doing something that effective inside of a team fight. And I know he's a great Enigma player. I'm just saying it ain't easy. So you have like these late game heroes like the Doom, for example, the Void, the Clinks, versus like a Slardar, an Alchemist who has, I would say, below average farm, and then an Enigma who has a really hard time getting ultis off. It's looking pretty tough.
I'm not feeling the purple strat at the moment.
I mean, I know what they wanted to do with it.
Yeah,
It's just that Vega played very well.
Yeah, and this is something as well we kind of come to expect from Vega. Vega, these guys have a lot of class, a lot of skill. No Diggity, have they got what it takes to match up against them at the moment? It's certainly Vega hitting the rhythm that they needed to with their lineup. Much better than No Diggity are, and they'll find themselves another tier 2 here. More money into the bank of the boys in blue and Vega. And we've got now an FN on top of that Desolator. He's got that BKB and we'll start to be working on his next one. But yeah, this Clink's beginning to look very scary, as we keep saying. You know, the fact that this Clink's is keeping on par with the farm of Vera on his Alchemist. That in itself is pretty terrifying. Maybe once the Manta Style's done for Era as well. He's obviously got the Radiance. Then we'll start to see Era starting to create a gap between himself and Clinks. But if Vega continue to do this, group up, push down lanes, they'll keep themselves on top. Now, meanwhile on the bottom. Oh, whoa.
Well, they just wrecked that illusion.
Absolutely, sure. Yeah, they certainly did.
I mean,
yeah.
You know why that stuff happens, though? If you look at the map, like the warding that was just dropped here from Vega, their vision is pretty low, you know? If you look at what No Diggity have, they have a vastly superior vision spread out on the map, so they have a much better idea of what Vega are going to be doing rather than vice versa. So the only time you ever see that kind of stuff is when you just don't see anything for a long time, and then you see a hero and you're like, oh god, we gotta go on him, you know?
Yeah, and now off the back that Qualifiers kind of come in, he says, well, maybe we can try and find one of the stragglers. It's not going to be the case, but oh, this is kind of nice, yeah.
Just hear them Roshan.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because there's no coil and there's no spheres, so all of a sudden, that one little Slardar illusion just...
They might still try and fight. You know, they have still got the chain frost. The coil's going to be back in 20 seconds, but yeah, that in itself isn't going to be quick enough. Vega, they're going to try and fight this without those 2 key ultimates. Let's see how it goes for them. YapzOr, pops the BKB, moves it. Oh, black hole onto 2. The wall drops as well. The chain frost will come in, but they've already lost FN. They've lost Solo as well on the Doom, and Mag, he's got to run. Jumps himself up to the high ground. I mean, they try to fight there, Vega, but as we were saying coming into that one, they were doing it without 2 of their biggest tools, and they may even lose more. Qualifier looking to chase down, show with the Slayer. There's your Dream Coil trying to contain the Slardar. It will hold Qualifier back. I'll just continue to arm that Toggle. He's going to be fine and A-OK here, and Diggity will find the space to finish off Roshan. But just a series of unfortunate plays there for Vega, just off the back, as we could just go back to, you know, them going on that illusion, but then them still deciding that they really felt that they needed to contest that Roshan.
I think they panicked a bit.
Yeah.
I think they realized as soon as they kill the illusion, they're just like, Roshan's up. That's really not good, because you just know that the enemy team is going to go for Roshan when you expend 2 big teamfight ultimates back-to-back and get nothing from it. Just a really nice play overall from No Diggity. Maybe Vega were a little bit too eager in how they ran into the river. They had the Doom and the Clinks kind of like right on top of each other, and they weren't able to do anything to cancel the black hole outside of a Chain Frost that was very late and didn't end up saving anyone regardless. But yeah, a big mistake there from Vega, very costly. Alchemist goes from equal net worth to pretty much the Clinks to all of a sudden 3,500 ahead. And this is what we were talking about in saying that the hero has ridiculous recovery capabilities. It's more or less just about the constant pressure that was coming out from Vega a little while ago that was kind of holding him down. But after a turn like that, I think No Diggity are going to feel quite pleased.
Absolutely. Yeah, as you said, they needed that and they got it. They really did. So Vega have to be increasingly more careful about the next fight that they do decide to take. FN is coming up on the top lane. He's going to look to try and find what he can from the jungle. Coming up to 1,500 on top of the Deso BKB. And he's going to move in for more, see if he can find any of the stragglers here. Shaman just checking for the D ward. Nothing up at the moment in terms of vision-wise for No Diggity around this spot. And No Diggity just kind of hugging Arrow at the moment. Synderen and the YapzOr right behind the Alchemist. This is, I don't know, yeah, this is 25 minutes in, 8 for 6. It is definitely both teams, you know, very high in terms of tension and playing a very safe game. And we're just seeing the occasional kind of, you know, the slip-ups, the panicking from either side. But it's you know, both teams really trying to keep it cooler and just be as chill as they can here in this game, which is obviously a very, very important stage of the qualifiers.
I mean, the first couple of series are going to be
Yeah.
very important. Like, you don't want to go... It is double a limb, right? in
It
the
is.
playoffs?
You do get another
okay.
chance if you lose this best of 3.
Yeah, but it's a really scary thing. And, you know, truthfully, we didn't talk much about it at the beginning of the game, but I do feel like Vega's group was a bit harder. Like, they had Advenom, Rebels, VP, and Spirit, whereas, you know, no Diggity are playing in a group with Empire, Kaipi, Power Rangers, Polarity. I would say that that group that they were in was a bit harder, and they also ended up at, you know, tied for first place, obviously, because Advenom and Vega both got the same amount of points. It's just kind of surprising that Vega make 2 really costly mistakes like that, and like back to back. And on the back of that, no Diggity are just able to keep getting their map control. They get the tier 2 in the off lane, and they're just keeping the train rolling, you know, going mid.
Yeah, indeed. They got the trade, the tier 2s on the top and the bottom, respectively going down for each side. And yeah, no Diggity take themselves an extra. Mid lane going down as well. And they'll back themselves up there. No need for the side of no Diggity to hang around. They can continue to just farm up on this Alchemist, get that gold on Error. And as we're saying, you know, he's now starting to hit his stride, starting to create that gap between himself and FN on the Clinks. Now, still got a bit of a way to go before you're kind of seeing the Alch in that comfortable position you'd hope to. 27 minutes in the game, but he's certainly going in the right direction.
Yeah, he's getting like about 500 GPM net worth more than the other heroes now at the rate that he's been going. So if he can keep that up, he'll have his Octarine pretty soon. Once that comes out, it's going to become even more annoying for Vega to kill him. Maybe he even goes back for another armor item like a AC or a Shiva's. Seen that in the past as well. Can be pretty devastating inside of these team fights when you are pretty much relying on only right-click damage to kill the Alch. That's also something that we haven't really scratched on just yet is, you know, Vega have Doom, which doesn't really do anything to Alchemist if you have Chemical Rage on. So we see a smoke up here from Vega. And then you have, like, Puck magic damage and maybe a Chain Frost. But that's not that much, right? You still need right clicks to finish him off, so maybe he'll go for the armor-oriented build.
We see Vega now looking for a play. Around in the jungle. Oh, there we go. They've got eyes on Cinnamon, and Cinnamon's gone.
That's an okay pick. It's not great because Era's already in a good position on the map, and he'll be able to kind of shove out the bottom lane as much as he wants to. But, I mean, it's something. You don't want to commit a 5-man smoke and only get a support, but unfortunately that's all Vega are going to be given here right now. So they need to, like, work on their lane equilibrium, maybe get a pair of bots on some other hero. But I don't think anyone can even afford them right now. Like, these are the types of games where you want, like, at least 2 heroes who can contest the Alchemist in lane to have boots of travel, just so he doesn't get to this stage where you're always having to worry about, you know, where's Era, what lane is he pushing, and I think it's going to very quickly get to that state.
Yeah, and as you're talking about, he's going to be a lot harder to take down with the Assault Cuirass very much round the corner on this Alchemist. But I don't know, this is, you know, at this point, do you feel that Vega need to continue to do it as they just were? Do they still need to go looking out for ganks out deep into the enemy side of the map, or can they afford to kind of play it passive and wait for Diggity to get to them, or is this out just gonna, yeah, it's going to become an issue that they need to deal with as soon as possible?
I think the Alchemist is more likely to reach critical mass, and then, oh, looks like it's going to be a self-stun here. But yeah, I think the Alchemist is most likely going to get to that point where he feels confident in trying to go high ground. They're going to coil him, though.
They have got backup coming through. Yeah, they're going to try and hold him in position. Now Solar comes in, drops the Doom onto Era. He's going to try and turn a punch, but the bashes are there from Mag, and this man's gone.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing there, actually. That was just a really bad misplay. Like, Koipo was already running away. I don't know, like, if there was some miscommunication or what, but he wanted to stay for that extra creep wave, and that ends up costing quite a bit. Like, dying on Alchemist is, you know, imagine dying on any other hero, but multiply that by like 5, because he's just making so much more use of the map during the time that he would normally, or during the time that he is dead, he would normally just be farming that much faster. So, really costly pick there. I don't see why he stayed for so long. It was fairly obvious that they were coming down there, because again, they have still pretty good vision. So they see, like, no one mid. They see, well, not literally no one, but, you know, no one on Vega is there. And then there's a ward bottom, and you see nothing in the map, and you're just sitting there with only a Slardar, and you keep farming with no Aegis. That was pretty questionable.
And FN, he has got that Daedalus done in just under 100 gold. That's going to be pretty damn terrifying for the side of no Diggity, as long as they can get that lockdown. You know, get no one in with the Dream Core Mag, in with the Chronosphere. So the right clicks are going to come fly.
Looks like we got a little mini pause here. Hopefully everyone's
Come
computers
on,
are not on
Sims
fire.
team. No, they've been having some issues with their voice comms or something because I think it was happening the other day as well.
Oh, okay. Oh, wait, you know what? I think I was watching a game where they said
Yeah.
that. I think you're right.
Oh, we're back in. Here we go. Let's get ourselves on with this one. But 30 minutes in, 10-6. Yasha, it looks like Void going to be going for the Manta style next after the Vladimirs.
I mean, Manta's alright. Could just be a casual Yasha, too. I don't know if... I mean, Manta's really only good for... What, I guess you Manta off Slardar amp? Or you make it so it's harder to target you for a Fiend script. I suppose those are like the two best things you can do with the item. Could also just be that he wants to build into Diffusal. Later the game goes. We've been seeing that build kind of pop up here and there as well. I think Afterlife from Empire was one of the first who started doing that a lot.
I mean, certainly kind of, you know, still big item pickups that both teams have been waiting for. But neither really ready to really kind of push for a fight. We're now going to start to see no Diggity getting on a bit of the aggressive. The smoke's up, looking for the jump in. Qualifier finds Mag there. She jumps over the apps with the BKB and the Black Hole catches 3. And now with the concoction of falling through with the back in the wall, they're going to get 2-3. Buyback immediately from Void. FN, he's trying to fight up against this. He's doing a decent job, but with the amplifier down, a bash from Qualifier. They'll find another Mag. He gets off the Chronos Flipper from the sidelines. Cinnamon reaches in. Fiend's gripping off the Void. It's going to be a dieback from Mag, and just like that, wham bam. No Diggity, finding themselves in a position where 4 of the enemy are down. A huge gold gain and XP gain there. Oh, now they're just going to look to push into the base. In this game, it's been rather quiet, rather passive. Only 11-11, 32 minutes in. And just a play like that, that smoke, that lead-in, that follow-up from Yapzor. I mean, there's a reason why we talk about this man's black holes, and just like that, no Diggity. Damn!
Yeah, I think you got to give Yapzor MVP this game. Just based off, well, either that or Koikva's Slardar illusion. One or the other. It's kind of a...
yes, that lose.
It's a pretty close race right now between those two things, because I think, you know, obviously hitting that black hole, hitting the 2 heroes on high ground, I don't even know if he saw them. I think he just wanted to really make sure that Mag was going to die, so Chronosphere didn't go off. Because that's probably the #1 threat to Dig's team fight, is the fact that if you get chronoed and the Enigma's in there, the fight's really difficult, because he can just get doomed after, and at that point, you're never going to get a sphere off. So they want to go on the aggressive. They want to make sure that they're taking the fight on their own terms so that Yapzor can get the black hole that he's looking for. And they found the perfect target, right? It just so happened that Vega was kind of clumped up around him. And after that, the fight's just instantly over because there was no interrupt. Like, he caught the Doom, the Enigma, or sorry, the Doom, the Void, and the Lich all in the same chain for us. Or, can't talk today. In the same black hole. So when that happens, those are all 3 of your BKB disables just out of the fight, straight away.
It was, it couldn't have gone any more perfect for the side of no Diggity indeed, the way that fight played out. And Vega, you know, they're not happy. They want to try and find themselves the fight that looks beautiful, and they're coming through. Black Hole still on cooldown for 50 seconds, so, you know, it's a good time for Vega to just try and make a play happen. They've got Chrono, they've got everything. Everything is up, everything ready to go. FN coming in, no one drops the Dream Cost in, 2-shotted, there's your Corona, onto Air on the back lines, Kezu doomed up, trying to back himself up, but he's going to fall as well. Qualifier pops the BKB, starts to move into the bashes, the amplifier onto FN, the Chain Frost is going to come out, but it's bouncing on a man that's BKB, Qualifier doesn't give a damn. Solo being focused by Error, he's got the Scorched Stuff, continues to run away, they've lost 2 on the side of no Diggity, but now they're hitting back, and they're hitting back hard. They've found 2, Solo being chased down here, Qualifier is going to have the blink up in a second, the Radiance Burn ticking down this Doom. The man, you know, Fire himself getting burnt hard by Error, and there we have to seal the deal. Qualifier coming in with a fishy slap. And again, this time, you know, Vega, they try and be proactive, but no Diggity just playing these fights that little bit better every time.
I think it also has a lot to do with the fact that there's a pretty big farm discrepancy now on the Elk versus the other cores. So, like, they drop a Chronosphere on Era, and I have to say that I really do like the AC choice instead of going for the Octarine, just because, again, the physical damage output is really what's scary for him. And they just can't do enough damage. And that's what we were talking about earlier, is when the Elk gets so far ahead, you just don't have the item progression necessary to kill the hero. And that's kind of the point where Era has reached right now, and the rest of no Diggity. I mean, heck, they even just bought a Solar Crest on Quakefa to make sure that they can, you know, put it on the Alchemist during these fights so the Klinks just doesn't have enough damage. And he obviously doesn't have an MKB either because he went straight for the Daedalus, so he now needs like another, what, 2,800 gold before he can reliably kill Era. Because if you look at the Solar Crest evasion plus the Radiance, because they do stack,
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
a pretty ridiculous amount of evasion that you have to try to cut through.
And that's the thing as well. I mean, MKP anytime soon for any of the heroes. I guess Klinks, what's he looking at? He has got a bit of gold, so FN can think about getting that one into his arsenal very soon. But meanwhile, you know, Diggity, they're finding the objectives. They're finding themselves Roshamp. It's going to be Aegis going the way of Error. Cheese as well for the man, Qualifier. And some of the performers, I mean, Qualifier, you know, 507. He's been having some huge initiations, as you've talked about as well. Yapzor with his black holes. The follow-ups from Kezu each and every time. It's been very, very scary.
Funny. You know, if you look at the lineup, you typically would say, okay, the Darkseer is going to set up for the black hole. But Yapzor actually sets up for the vacuum because he just hits like 3 or 4 heroes every single time. Like, I don't get how he can consistently hit Chronospheres in like these types of situations where if I was playing Enigma, I would just be like panic mode. It's like, how the hell am I ever going to get a good black hole off against like Chrono and all these other...
Ooh,
like,
well, he's got... Oh, no, no one! He jumped into the Chrono! He's been had! Oh, he's going to buy back straight away, and there's the black hole! Onto Mag, onto Solo. It will be cancelled here by the Dream Coil. The Chain Frost bouncing through as well. Vega looking for the turnaround, but Era already cleaning himself up. A double kill Solo, bringing down the Infernal Blade, but Qualifier and Era looking to clean up this one. He's been hexed up, but he doesn't care. The Yules will hold him back. They have lost 3, but Era, he's going to clean up Solo on the Doom. Mag gets himself away back to base.
I think that might just be GG, honestly.
It's looking like
oh,
a
no,
mess.
Wait, FN can buy back, never mind. They're going to force him to buy out.
Oh, yeah. It's, you know, if they could take another one like this, Diggity. My goodness, they may have looked a bit rocky in the early stages of the game, but they've really hit back hard. Their team fight comes online at Qualifier. Well, he comes on you. Onto Mag, he's gone.
Oh my god.
Absolutely shreked.
Okay, yeah, now it's GG, I think.
Yeah, this is some really impressive stuff from Diggity. 2 racks down.
That's why we were kind of emphasizing the importance of Vega doing well in the early game, because their damage output kind of drops pretty significantly, and they really rely on winning the lanes, which they kind of did. They didn't necessarily outfarm, but they held Era down pretty heavily. FN did fine against the Darkseer. Solo was getting a decent amount. And then you take a couple of team fights, okay, we got some objectives, things are going fine. Then the Slardar illusion came into play.
Pretty much that.
All of a sudden, no Diggity just get like 5k net worth out of Alchemist after 1 team fight that they were forced into taking after wasting 2 ultimates. And then, of course, Yapzor's Black Hole mid that hit 3 BKB piercing disable heroes and just instantly won the game, I think, from there.
And the issue really is as well, just in these fights, you know, if no Diggity can control and kill the Klinks, where's your damage? I mean, what Vega,
yeah, exactly.
They're not going to be even tickling this Alchemist or you know, this Slardar at this point. Especially with the AC, you know, for the whole team. I don't know, as long as Diggity can lock down and kill that Klinks, they're fine. I mean, we can obviously see it go the other way around. If a huge Chrono and Dream Coil comes out and FN finds himself in a position to just shoot those arrows out, he can melt through. He can really melt through these guys. Like, he has got an insane amount of damage, but it's all your damage output just resting on this Klinks.
They're putting a lot of pressure on Mag too, because as you said, it has to be a really good Chronosphere. So if he hits the wrong targets, or if they get any kind of counter initiation, and FN is caught in it, you know, Klinks is not really good against Slardar. If you think about the idea that he wants to be away from heroes just shooting arrows, he doesn't ever want to be in the front of the fight. And Slardar brings the fight to you. Like, Qualifier doesn't care about getting in your face. He's got BKB, he's got, you know, sprint on top of that, a ton of armor with the armlet and the solar crest, and also a cheese just in case things go really south. So he can just throw out an amp onto you and run at you, and then Vega's damage output is gone. Like, who does anything after that happens?
Yeah, this is all up to Vega to really try and find a way to turn this one round, because off the back of this, it's been fight, going the way of Diggity. Mag's in position behind them. We'll see if he can find a huge Chrono.
This could be big. Oh, they're checking the trees.
Oh,
they just pinged it.
They are. Someone give this team a vac bam.
Oh, he didn't go all the way in.
Yeah, they did ping him though. They're aware that he could be there hiding. Now we can see Era just pushing in. He's going to take away the tier 3. So now the final set of wrecks for Vega are exposed. Era's just going to sit there and keep hitting. They've got to stop this man. They're going to try and move in. Mag now with the Chronosphere onto 2, but Synderen again gets the Feast at the back of the wall coming through here. And now the concoction starting 2 of them in the middle of it all. They're going to lose no one. Solo and FN both falling low. Your Klinks is gone. You've lost your puck as well. Mag getting bashed down, beat down by no Diggity, and GG is called. In a game where the start Era was, you know, he was struggling on his Alchemist. It was not looking good, but he recovered, the team played, kind of the level that we've been seeing No Diggity play recently, and it was all too much for Vega, regardless of the fact that they had a relatively stable early game. And just like that, we're going into this best of 3 and No Diggity, a game up.
Yeah, it's one of those weaknesses on Vega's draft that you don't really think about until after you get to the mid game. And I think their lineup could have actually worked had they executed properly. But it's more of this, the Alchemist was the biggest issue by far.